And welcome back, everyone, to the Crash the Pond podcast. It is a Monday, October 6th edition. And guess what today is? Guess what today is?
I don't know. What is today?
Full moon. Full moon tonight.
Is it?
I was out walking before this and I saw a very bright and full moon. And you know what they say? Make a wish. Make a wish upon a star.
What?
I just saw your brain break. That was quite funny.
What? What?
That was quite funny. Make a wish upon a moon. Make a wish upon a moon.
I'm gonna address these two questions off the bat. Skadoosh, yes. The wall behind me is no longer empty. There's now a couch there. So for those watching, the setup is not fully complete, but it's closer. It's getting closer. Now it just needs to have stuff go on the wall. And Cider League asked, what's the story behind the banger of an intro song?
Well, for those who don't know, when you're making a podcast, you want your intro song to be not copyrighted. You want it to be a royalty-free song. And so you go on these websites that just sell these royalty-free music clips, and you buy them. And years ago, we picked this one, and we have never changed it. Also, what's hilarious... it might have been an old song that we had.
No, it was this song. It was in a TV ad of some.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't it a McDonald's commercial?
I don't know if it was McDonald's. There was some commercial that used this.
Well, so the podcast I did before this, years and years ago, Garage Hockey Pod, the royalty free song we used for that wasn't a McDonald's commercial. Okay. And I know that we've had that happen to us here too.
I don't remember what it was. It may have been like it wasn't Amazon. I think it was like Walmart or something.
Yeah, it might have just been like some retail company.
It was random, but yeah.
But yeah, we're basically rolling with the big shots, is what we're saying here with that song.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane that song probably cost us what, like $20?
I don't. I don't remember.
And Walmart or whoever with all their money is spending the same amount.
Yep. Yeah.
Funny stuff. No one really cares to hear all that, though. Lot to get into today. Lots to discuss. We're going to pretty much go in chronological order, most recent to least recent. So today, the Ducks announced their season opening roster. Very interesting. I mean, it's not interesting, but keep in mind, it does say season opening, not opening night. So this could theoretically change. The Ducks' opening night is on Thursday. And then we have a Jackson LaCombe extension to talk about. We've got a little bit of preseason cleanup duty to hit at some point. But why don't we start with the opening night roster? Because that seems to be that's what we've been waiting for weeks now. So why don't we just start there?
Yeah, so let me just run through it for those listening that have not been able to see it, are living under a rock, and rely on us for information.
Oh, actually, I need to quickly correct myself. The graphic they put out does say opening night roster.
It does.
So this is the opening night roster. We can say that.
Yep. Also, I mean, I'll just say this. We'll get into it a bit, but for anyone out there that has been kind of not conspiracy theorying, but going on all of the random little thought chains of what this could mean, what the Ducks are going to do, the fact that you have until Thursday for all this stuff. If the Ducks really wanted to make any of those moves, they would have just done it yesterday. Like I don't think it requires any of this galaxy braining that's going on. I could be proven wrong here, and these moves happen the next day or two. But like, this is the opening night roster.
Yeah,
I don't think it really deserves a whole lot more thought behind that, or besides that. So, but we'll get into that. I say that as we're about to talk about it.
You're already airing out niche Twitter battles, and
100%.
We're barely 5 minutes in, so that's great.
What the show's for, right? Opening night roster, though, the forwards are Leo Carlson, Mason McTavish, Sam Colangelo, Nikita Nesterenko, Cutter Gauthier, Ryan Paling, Mikhail Granlund, Beckett Sennecke, Ross Johnston, Ryan Strome, Alex Killorn, Troy Terry, Chris Kreider, Frank Vetrano. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think we need to go through the whole thing for it to make sense, because there's different pieces of the puzzle where the others don't quite make sense if you don't talk about the others. So on the blue line, so the Ducks have 14 forwards.
Yes.
They have 6 defensemen.
Yep.
So they've gone for the mythical, fabled, very rare 14-6-3 setup.
Yep, and the defensemen, just to name them out, are Radko Gudas, Drew Hellison, Jackson LaCombe, Pavel Minchikov, Jacob Trouba, Olin Zellweger. Goalies are Lucas Dostal, Ville Husso, Peter Mrazek.
So as we foretold, the Ducks are starting the season on their opening night roster with 3 goaltenders.
Was I ahead of the curve? I feel like I suggested this like a couple of podcasts ago.
You did. You were the first to throw that out there.
That
so
what if they did this? Thank you. But yeah, this is. I mean, even though I thought about it then,
it was kind of like a half take.
It was like, what if they did this?
Yeah,
type of deal. But I think if it were to be asked back then, there's no way I would have thought they would have gone 14-6. If you go with 3 goalies, it's very odd to go with 6 defensemen, just for the fact of what if a guy gets hurt day of game? What if, I mean, going back to last year, I don't know if you remember opening night, wasn't Jackson LaCombe sick? And he had to be scratched for the first few games because he was so sick. And Olin Zellweger, I think, was set to be scratched for opening night, and he had to play.
Yeah.
As a result of that.
I remember that. And, I guess we just have to talk about it right away, but the Ducks have 2 games on the road to start. Now, granted, Seattle and San Jose, so the travel is pretty light. It's not necessary, and then they come back, play 2 home games, but then after that they have a 5-game road trip all out Central and East Coast. So we'll get to that, but getting back to the roster, I'll start with kind of the headline for me at least. Beckett Sennecke made the team.
Yep.
Beckett Sennecke is on this team, and we've talked about it ad nauseum going back to the rookie faceoff that, he didn't quite look NHL ready, the defensive issues, the turnovers, but as camp progressed, you saw his offensive game begin to shine more and more. You saw those flashes. There was the goal he scored against the Sharks, the highlight reel, stick handling maneuver into a snipe. That being said, I don't necessarily think the issues went away. It's just they were offset by some flashes. And then you had the comment from Joel Quenneville a couple days ago saying basically that they're comfortable playing him on a 4th line because he's not going to be your typical 4th liner. He called them a wild card, saying that, we can use him in all types of different situations, power play, empty net, or even 4-on-4, and we can play him with our skilled players, but we also can just have him down there on the 4th line. So it doesn't sound like, yes, he's going to be on the 4th line with Ross Johnston and Ryan Poehling, but it doesn't sound like he's going to be playing, 10 minutes a night. It sounds like they're going to use him in some capacity beyond that. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, my thought on that is I'll believe it when I see it. The reason for that,
it sounds nice.
Like, it sounds nice in theory, but realistically, like, which one of these guys is he going to play more than? I don't view him as a guy that they are probably going to put on the power play over any of the other guys in the top 9. Like, I just don't view that as something that they're necessarily going to do or view as being a high priority. If if the Ducks were going into the season and the statement going into it was, we just want to get better every game, then yes, you do that. You put him on the power play, you play him in 4th line, do kind of let him build kind of more so good habits on the 4th line while also getting those high leverage type of situations on the power play. But the decree from higher ups is they want to make the playoffs and they want to win games. And I just don't view a coaching staff putting him in those situations if that is what is being stated by everyone there. And so I think it's great in theory, and I think if it were to happen, it would be probably the right call if he's up. But I'm just in a wait and see mode because I don't view him as someone that is probably going to get those power play minutes. I don't view him, obviously, as someone that will be on a penalty kill. And so maybe you have him take every other shift or something like that with an upper line unit. But realistically, like, you're not going to have him sub in for anyone in the top 6. Maybe he takes a shift here and there with Strome and Vetrano or Strome and Killorn. But still, like, I don't think that he's someone that's necessarily going to be getting more than 10 to 12 minutes a night if he's on this team right now.
Well, what we saw in the final preseason game against LA with the 2 power play units and the top unit, I just don't think he's going to play on that. It's Lacombe, Carlson, Kreider, Granlund, Terry. Like that seems like a pretty set power play unit. It's veterans Carlson and Lacombe, and then second unit. I guess Kreider. I guess he was out there for a bit, but you also had Gauthier, Strome, McTavish, Zellweger. So maybe there's a little bit of an opening on that second unit for him to get out there. But yeah, you're right that it's going to be difficult. Oh yeah, so I should say that in that game, Seneca and Killorn did get out there on the second unit at times. So I do think he'll see some power play minutes. I do think that they're going to try. I mean, I think this kind of reminds me of the Leo plan a little bit, where Leo Carlson didn't play back-to-backs, and they kind of make these unique plans for their top young players, and they stick with it.
With the Leo plan, I think it was a little different, though, and that's where I'll push back.
Well, it's easier to implement. No, I'm just saying, I'm not saying they're the same. I'm just saying that it's similar in that they have a specific player who they see maybe some issues or needs, and they kind of try to fit them in without fully integrating them either.
So I'm looking at the minutes he played, so just out of curiosity, in the game against LA, just because that was kind of the closest to a full NHL lineup. That's the one where you're going to have the most takeaways from a lineup perspective. So that fourth line in that game of Johnston, Paling, Seneca played roughly 12 minutes. And there was one shift in there where Cutter Gauthier played with Paling and Seneca, and Johnston skipped a shift. And then in addition to that, Seneca was out there in the 6-on-5 and then was also out there during 3-on-3. So he played about 15 minutes, but in reality, throughout regulation, probably played, I don't know, 12, 30-ish would be my guess.
I mean, if he's playing 12 to 15 minutes, I think that's
sure.
That's not terrible.
But I'm removing 3-on-3 overtime from that, just to
well, I think
look at
there's a
most
chance
games.
he might play more than that. He might play more than 12 minutes because he might get power play time.
See, I just disagree. I just don't view that, and that's where.
Well, okay, but here's where I'll just kind of smush you here.
Okay.
Like, if they're not going to play him on the power play, then why is he on the team? I
don't know.
To have him play 10 minutes at fourth line just seems a little like I think he's going to get power play time. I'm not saying he's going to get a bunch of power play time, but he's going to get some.
I'm of the opinion of I'll believe it when I see it. You're probably not wrong. I'm not going to push back on that. But it's just I don't know which of those players he's necessarily which of those players
but none of this has made sense. Like we could have said the same thing about him making the team. It's like, which player is he knocking off?
True.
Well, he knocked him off. He did it.
Well, technically, he didn't knock off any of those. They put him in the fourth line, which is the spot that you and I both agreed that he wasn't best suited to fill at this point when you have a Colangelo.
I just think that the Ducks want him to play. I
think they want him on the NHL roster because I think that they view that as the best spot. They view that as a more beneficial spot for him long term than being back in junior. I think my question that comes from that is if this team is really dead set on winning every game, on making the playoffs and all of that type of stuff, I don't view him as someone that is going to play more than 12 minutes a night, and I could very easily prove him wrong by this. But if that is the case, there's no way to me that this is the most beneficial way for him to develop, which is a different thing from Carlson, where with Carlson at least, and I'm not saying this is what you were saying, I'm just kind of saying when you're comparing those two plans from the Ducks organization, because as you said, it's kind of easy to compare. With Carlson, it was a distinct plan of, okay, we're not going to play him every single night. We're going to let him build strength, take the off days, that type of stuff. But when he is playing, he is going to play 18 to 20 minutes a night. He is going to play every minute in high leverage situations to be able to build his game. And when he is playing, he is going to develop throughout those games. That does not appear to be the plan for Beckett Sennecke. And I am going to be very curious to see how long this stays, because I think if he is going to play 10 to 12 minutes a night and is here the whole entire season, am I crazy to say that I don't think this is a great development season for him? I just don't think that's a great way to develop a 19-year-old player.
Well, I think that's the next question is, how long is this going to last? And I would still be surprised if he spends the entire season with the Ducks. I think that at most he's playing half a season. I I think it will get to a point where maybe he does really pick it up and plays his way,
Yeah.
maybe even up the lineup. I mean,
It's
you never
certainly
know.
possible.
But I think that most likely, my guess as to what they're thinking here is that they have identified issues in his game that they probably already knew about, but they really kind of were apparent in preseason, and they've decided, you know what, we can't send him to the AHL. He can't go play college. Maybe they don't really believe as much in the OHL for the entire season as development, so they've decided we're going to keep him around for a bit, coach him up, play him on a fourth line, and really the fourth line stuff is kind of what he needs to work on. The offense is there, but he's just not good defensively. He's not good at the details of the game. So their thought is probably, we're more comfortable having him be here in-house for a little while. He can kind of pick up on these things, and at a certain point, we'll let him go back to junior, dominate, put up points, have a bit more of a pro approach when he's down there. Maybe also play at the World Juniors, which he didn't get to do last year. So I would still be very, very surprised if he played the entire season with the Ducks.
Yeah, I would agree. Let me ask you this
And I think, by the way, if you remove the playoff whole implication of this, I think this is a fine approach for Seneca. Like, I think this is a good plan because it's pretty clear that he needs to work on things, and I think that this might be a better environment for that for now. But you're right that if he played the entire season on the fourth line, I think that you're running into some trouble there for sure.
Yeah, I think if this is a 9, I'm curious if they go more than 9 games. If this is the plan, it's a partial season. If they really want to burn that year off the contract, if they view that as an important thing, or maybe they just don't care about the burning of the year off the ELC, because we're seeing more and more teams not worry about that as much.
Well, he might not play every game. I don't think he's going to play every game.
Well, and here's my question for you. Are we just kind of, as we are wont to do, overanalyzing the situation? And because he's played in all of the last few preseason games, that all this is just kind of out there, but he ends up not playing in any of these games?
I think he's going to play. He's going to play.
Well, I'm just saying, what if he just doesn't play in any of these games? He's scratched for 5 straight games, then goes to the AHL. Because that is also another option here, is once he's scratched for 5 straight games, he's eligible for an AHL conditioning stint.
So
and
that could still happen.
Part of me is wondering that, because why else? I guess now I'm just really trying to overanalyze all of this. I'm curious why they would keep both Colangelo and Nestorenko on the roster.
Well, that's because of the goalies.
Well, no, because they could have sent Colangelo down and kept Moore up.
Well, okay, here's my thing. Like, I think that, look, if they didn't intend on playing him at all, why have him skate with your newly acquired fourth line center? And I mean, it seems like you would want to build chemistry between Paling and Colangelo and Nestorenko.
I would agree.
He's been joined at the hip with Ryan Paling for the last week.
Yeah,
I think that tells you he's going to play. He will play NHL games. I don't think he's just going to eat hot dogs and popcorn with Derek and Patrick in the press box.
All good. I'm just asking the questions here.
I mean, it's a fair question, but I think I would buy that more if he had been skating on a line with Nestorenko and Colangelo, or Washi throughout camp. But he's been with NHLers this entire time. So make of that what you will. We will find out. But I think he's going to play. So then, kind of moving down the list, we can kind of mash these two together. But you've got 3 goalies and 6 defensemen, which you pretty much never see in the NHL. But as we kind of talked about on a previous podcast, maybe there was some fear of losing Husso or Mrazek on waivers. But I think that more than anything, because yes, there's the waivers aspect, but I think more than anything, I think they just don't know who this number 2 is. I think that they're just letting that play out. And everyone wants to make this about waivers. I think it's just more you have these 2 guys who just haven't really fully proven it to them, and they just want to see it play out.
Can I address that whole waivers part of it also? Because I feel like there's this massive misconception on this. And I know you and I have texted about this, so you've heard this from me.
I've heard this a few times already, but just want to put this out there. I feel like there's this major misconception, and the Ducks are trying to play this 4D chess and this, wait and see what's happening type of deal with them. And the thought process people are kind of putting out there is that,
Well, the Ducks are waiting until after all the goalies went on waivers because all teams are trying to get goalies on waivers. And so by waiting a little bit more, teams aren't going to be as needed or won't need goalies as much. And that will make it easier to slip Husso and Mrazek through waivers. And there's been people saying that they're even going to do that tomorrow and then call more up. But that logic doesn't really pass the sniff test for me because especially when you look at the fact of how many goalies went on waivers yesterday. Yesterday, and the only ones that really got picked up were guys that were making under $1 million, and it was Caden Primo, who has 1 year left, and I think that there was a goalie that Toronto picked up as well, and Toronto does not have any.
Did they pick up
space.
Primo?
Did Toronto pick up Primo, or was it a different team that picked up? Let's see. I was looking at this earlier, and I should have had it up.
It was him.
And then someone also picked up another goalie. I don't remember what the
you
guy's
texted
name.
me a whole list earlier.
I did. Let's see. Colton Ellis was picked up by the Sabres. That's who it was. And then, but like Nico Dawes cleared. Michael DiPietro cleared. Like, if you want to have a goalie clear waivers, the best time to do it is when there are a ton of other goalies on waivers. Because the one thing to remember is that teams aren't going to put multiple goalie waiver claims on the same day. Because what if both go through, then they're stuck with both goalies at that point. So teams are going to strategically pick the goalie that fits best for their system and kind of target that specific guy. And it doesn't look like any of the teams over the period really targeted any of these goalies that were somewhat higher profile, like Michael DiPietro and Nico Dawes. I know were two guys that were potentially going to be targeted during that period. And so I just don't think that whole idea that this was because of waivers and the worry about losing them was that big of a deal. And then also the other side of it is, if you lose one to waivers, so what? Like, that's the other part of it is Husso and Mrazek. Like, that's not going to make or break this team, whether you have Mrazek or Husso. They're both going to be similar. They're both going to give you about similar outputs. Maybe one a little bit better, maybe one a little worse. But that's probably not going to be what makes or breaks this team long term. And so I think realistically you're right that they just don't know who the third goalie or who the backup goalie is going to be. I think that they wanted to have more time to evaluate it. And I think that maybe they just wanted to have all three goalies. I'll say this. If they were to run a 3-goalie system properly, which I don't know if they will or not.
I don't know if you can.
Well, in order to do that, basically, anytime that Dostal's not playing, he should not even be backing up. He should just have a full day off. And Kevin Woodley has mentioned this. I think it was on the PDO cast or somewhere else. Kevin Woodley is one of the best goalie analysts that there is. But has mentioned that kind of these guys, you don't realize how much, not wear and tear, but it is taxing even being a backup. Like, you still have to go through your pregame routine. You still have to go out there for warm-ups. You still have to be prepared to go into the game if something happens. And so by having all three, if Lucas Dostal is not starting in that game, he should just have a full day off and have it be Husso Mrazek as your goalie tandem for that game.
I mean, how much of this, too, is a concern about Dostal's first year as a starter and trying to buy him some extra rest?
And do exactly what I'm saying, basically?
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Maybe. I just think, I think all of what you're saying could be how they're thinking. I also could just see Paver being way too worried about waivers.
You're right. It's possible.
I think everything is sort of feasible here. My take is just that I think they want to let it play out. Because realistically, like, you can't carry on with 6 defensemen all season. That's just not going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
How long do you think they keep 3 goalies for?
I don't know.
Because
if it really is about waivers, this could last all season.
Yeah.
Well, because I as a Canadiens fan 2 years ago, there was the infamous 3-goalie setup where there was Montembeault, Jake Allen, and Caden Primo, and the Canadiens had 3 goalies all year, and it was the nonstop talking point. And they were so worried about losing Primo on waivers that they kept him around, and it created this really awkward. Because think about it, in practice, there's only 2 nets, so you've got a third goalie just kind of standing around half the time. It's not ideal. Like, I just can't imagine that this is actually the plan for the entire season. I think that they just need to if they're that worried about losing one of these guys, like just trade one of them. Get something for them.
That or just rip the Band-Aid off. If you're going to lose them, you're going to lose them.
I also just think that both of them are kind of waiver claim proof a little bit because of their contract situations. Mrazek with the extra year and Husso with the extra year and Mrazek with the higher cap hit. So
let's kind of back away from this slightly also. Like when they go to the AHL, like Thomas Sukanek should be playing this year.
Yeah.
So if they go to the AHL, are they going to start those games over him? Are they going to go down and be AHL backups? Like, what is this situation going to be like? And so if you're Pat Verbeek, you should probably just be trying to trade one of them, and that probably is going to be Mrazek because you just signed Husso to a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
And so
I think Mrazek's getting traded.
Like, that's more likely what's going to happen. But if there's nothing out there, just put him on waivers. Like, it is what it is. Right?
Yeah.
Like this just isn't that I just think that this isn't that difficult. Losing a guy like Mrazek on waivers is not that big of a deal overall long term.
Okay, well here, let's play it out a little bit.
Okay.
So Thursday in Seattle, Dostal?
Yes.
Saturday in San Jose. Hey, I could go to that game. Saturday in San Jose, Dostal?
Yes.
Pittsburgh next Tuesday.
Yes, home opener. It's Dostal.
Oh, that's right. That's home. Okay. Carolina Thursday.
They have no back-to-backs this entire month. I just realized that.
Okay, no, well, but I think the first 2 weeks, I think Dostal is going to play every game.
Yes.
But then you have 2 days off, but then you play every other day for a week. So you've got Chicago on a Sunday.
Dostal might sit the Nashville game because they're on the road.
Then you've got Nashville Tuesday. Thursday, you've got Boston. Then
Boston you can have as a backup game.
Tampa Saturday.
You play Dostal.
And then you've got 2 days off, Florida. Dostal again.
Sorry, let me think. I said Dostal against Chicago. Maybe in Chicago you go Mrazek or Husso. Nashville you go Dostal. Boston you go Mrazek or Husso. Then Tampa, Florida you go Dostal.
And then Detroit to end the month on Halloween at home.
Yeah.
And
so you're going through all of this for 2 games.
I mean, realistically, these two backups might arguably you could just not play them this month. I mean, a number one goalie is going to play if there's not a back-to-back.
Yeah.
It would. This is so weird. Now going through the schedule, it's actually getting worse for me.
The fact that East Coast road trip has no back-to-backs is wild.
Well, like, let me put it this way, too. Like, in theory, if you were really zooming out and you said, okay, we really want to rest Dostal, what if you just didn't bring Dostal on the road trip?
There's no way they would do that, though.
Yeah, I know. But but that's the thing. So he's for sure going. And then what do you do with the other 2 guys? You bring them as well. Not all. Like, okay, let me ask you this. Are all 3 goalies going to play this month?
No.
Then what are we doing here?
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here. It makes
How are we going to find out who the backup is if the backup's never going to play?
But Felix, there's a grand plan.
Oh gosh, I will say the schedule does pick up in November. They play every other day when they get back. Actually, they play every other day for 3 weeks basically.
Their first back-to-back's not till November 8th.
Yeah, but they have 3 straight weeks of playing every other day.
Sure.
Well, more like 2 weeks with 1 week sandwiched in, and then a week the week this month. So there will be opportunity, I think, more towards November than there will be this month. This month, this month could legit just be all Dostal.
It's kind of a nice cadence to start the season, actually, though.
Well, I'm pretty happy about it.
Like, it's a nice cadence of every other, maybe no like long, multiple, like more than 2-day breaks.
Oh, see, I like the breaks.
Oh, see, I like an every other day type of schedule where every other day there's a game, or at most 2 days between games.
Fair. So yeah, this goalie situation is bizarre. I kind of hate that we're 30 minutes in and we spent a good chunk talking about that. Any other notes on the lineup outside of that?
No, I mean, it's kind of what we expected going into the season. I really just think the question is like, are Nesterenko and Colangelo gonna play? Like,
I think they'll play.
yeah,
I think they'll play. I mean, you look at the schedule, and I think there's going to be opportunities for them to get in. I don't think Seneca's playing every game this month. I'll put it that way.
How would you feel after? One last question about all of this.
The goalies?
Goalies.
No.
What would you think if after all of this,
Tomorrow?
they not just that, after all of this, one of them goes on waivers, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's in a week from now, and they get claimed?
I mean, this doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
This
but
isn't really an issue. Like,
but
this
if this was this master plan to try to sneak them through waivers, and then they just get claimed,
that would be hilarious.
yeah, it would be.
But so I guess I should make it clear. I find this weird and strange, but it's not really a negative.
It doesn't really
team.
matter.
I think that. Okay, so let me backtrack.
Okay.
Let me modify my stance. I think that one goalie will be gone before the road trip because they're not going on the road with 6 defensemen.
No, they aren't. But they could send down Colangelo and call up more.
That's true.
They could do. That's what I thought they were going to do to start the season, was 13 forward, 7 defensemen.
But if you want to, but I mean, it's a 5-game road trip where you're going far. You're going on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with just one extra forward?
Plenty of teams have done it before.
Okay. So maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they still just send down Nesterenko or Colangelo.
Yeah. Well, the reason why it would be Colangelo
Or Seneca.
Nesterenko is, there's that. Nesterenko is waiver eligible. Colangelo is not.
So it'd have to be Colangelo.
Yeah.
Man, I feel kind of bad for Colangelo.
Yep.
He was one of the lone bright spots last year, and granted, he hasn't made the team, but I don't think he's going to play the first couple games, probably.
I mean, he should be playing over Johnston, and arguably he should play over Seneca after the preseason they both had.
Yeah, I am hoping that Seneca does well and kind of gives us some positive things to talk about, because Lord knows I've been getting a lot of fire for just being critical, like just saying what I see on the ice of him. Anyway, okay, moving on from all that. That felt like a lot.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the big news.
Mm-hmm.
The $9 million a year news.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson LaCombe signs an extension. We haven't talked about extensions in a long time.
We not for
Frank
RFA.
Vetrano. Yeah.
RFA.
Yeah. 8 years, $9 million AAV for Jackson LaCombe. So the Ducks get this done well ahead of time, something that we just never thought that Pat Verbeek would do. And they now have a core piece on the blue line. They have declared that Jackson LaCombe is a core piece for the next 8 years. And Jackson LaCombe is 24. He will not be a UFA, a unrestricted free agent, until he's 33. They have him for his entire prime now. I mean, this is a huge deal.
Yeah, it is. And the Ducks are paying a significant penny for it, paying $9 million a year. But they're doing that because they're buying most of Jackson LaCombe's UFA years. Like, yeah. I think that's one thing to keep in mind. A lot of people are going to generalize and say RFA deal, that type of things. But Jackson LaCombe is significantly older than a lot of the other guys on this team. And he would have become a UFA, if I'm looking at this right, in 2028. So this contract starts in 2026. So this is 6 years buying his UFA status.
Yeah.
So this is a significant portion of his UFA years. This is also something that is not going to kick in this year, but kicks in the year after, when the cap is rumored to be going, or set to go up to 105, is rumored to be going up to 107 now. That's now out there. And then we also have it was 113 is where it's going after that.
Yeah.
And so, which, if it's going up to 107 next year, it's going to go up even further from that. So this is a deal where the $9 million seems like a lot right now, but as that cap keeps rising, when this contract actually starts, it's going to be about right for what he signed for. And $9 million is about a number one defenseman right now. That is how he performed last season for this Ducks team. And even if he takes a bit of a step back and he becomes a number two defenseman more so, or even a second pairing, a number three, by midway through this contract, that's a $9 million cap hit is going to be about what a 2-3 defenseman makes.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the reality of where the salary cap is going, where things are going. And it's not going to be cost prohibitive long term. So you have been critical of Pat Verbeek over this tenure and how he has treated his RFAs and not really getting ahead of it, whether it's Dostal, and even for the guys with arbitration, with Troy Terry literally being outside the arbitration room, with Lucas Dostal getting into the arbitration period time and having a case set. And he deserves credit for jumping the gun. Deserves a bit of credit.
Jumping the gun is an interesting way of putting it,
Okay,
actually.
not jumping the gun, but for getting ahead of it and getting Jackson LaCombe locked up. And that doesn't mean that this comes without risk, but I think he deserves some credit here. I will say it sounds like, I'm trying to remember, Pat Brisson probably came to the Ducks with this contract. It's no coincidence that Pat Brisson is also Luke Hughes' agent, who just signed, a 7-year, $9 million cap hit?
Yeah.
And I think it's not a coincidence at all that it's the same exact AAV for Jackson LaCombe from the same exact agent. Yes, different situations, different circumstances, with Luke Hughes being RFA with no arb rights and LaCombe being an RFA with arb rights. But it's Pat Brisson is the agent for both of those. And if I had to take a guess with why the Ducks did this now, is I think that once this deal came to their plate, I would imagine that Pat Verbeek was probably very afraid of what Jackson LaCombe could go after in an arbitration hearing if he had a season like Pat Verbeek thinks Jackson LaCombe is going to have.
Well, you use the term jump the gun. And I think that usually this is the kind of deal that I would just praise without even thinking about it. But we've talked a lot, actually, about this exact scenario on the show in the last few months. And I do think that the jump the gun potential is somewhat there. So,
agreed.
Jackson LaCombe, I'm just going to put it in very plain terms. And this is not to minimize anything he's done. But Jackson LaCombe has had one good season in the NHL. That's it.
You could even make it less and say he's had half a good season.
Yeah, like 3/4 of a good season. Because the year prior, his rookie year, he was not good. Now, he showed flashes, for sure. You saw the skating. You saw things like that. But then in his second year, started off very similar to his first year, where he was, again, he looked good, but he was very mistake prone. I mean, remember early in the season, those turnovers he would have that would cost the Ducks games. And then somewhere along the way, he just really picked it up, and he became this kind of all situations, puck moving, smooth skating defenseman, and that's a credit to him. And the stats back that up. He had strong underlying numbers last year. Now, not elite, I will say, not elite. I think that some of the percentile player cards you'll see on Twitter kind of give a different impression. You really need to look at the standard deviations, because that gives you a better idea of how much further away, whether good or bad, this guy is from the average. And Jackson LaCombe still grades out very well when you look at it that way on the RAPM charts on Evolving Hockey, but it doesn't say 90th percentile. It doesn't look quite as sexy. And if you look at his micro data, the tracking data from Corey Schneider, very, very good. Elite puck moving, great at defending the blue line, great on retrievals. So all of that is great. All of this would suggest that this is a guy who has taken a massive step and will be a top 4 defenseman, maybe even a top pairing defenseman the rest of the way. But it is just 1 year. It is just 1 year. And I really loved what he did last year. I watched all of his shifts. I did a bunch of videos on them on our Patreon. Like, I am in. I believe in the player. But you are committing. This is a big commitment for 1 good year. I'm just saying, that is something to note here.
And I was just backtracking slightly just to see. He didn't start playing 20-plus minutes a night consistently until maybe mid-December.
Yeah, and so all of this is to say that, yes, I think that there is a chance, it might even be likely, that he might take a little bit of a step back and become more of a second pairing guy.
Mm-hmm.
But even if that happens, even if he's not this top pairing, I mean, now people are talking about him for the Olympics, which, fine, if he does it, great. Even if he doesn't do that, though, this contract is still good. Because, like you said with the salary cap, as that will increase, $9 million is going to be a second pairing defenseman, a good second pairing defenseman. So this is one of those rare situations where I don't think that anybody loses here. I don't think that there's actually a way for this to go wrong. Jackson LaCombe would have to have a huge step back regression for this to go wrong. But otherwise, I think that this is kind of a no-lose situation.
Yeah. And that's why I said it's not without risk for the Ducks, in the sense of, you're right. He has not had a full high-end season to bank off of. I think you and I are both people that think that you should be paying guys based on what they potentially be. So I think if you are sold on him, which the Ducks seem to be sold on him, I think this is a bet that you should make. Yeah, and just agreed. As a reference, I was curious. Cam Fowler's 8 years, $6.5 million. That was 8.18% of the cap, or percent of the cap when the contract started. This is 8.6%.
So it's right on the money.
Yeah, and I mean, Cam Fowler, when he signed, was a number 2 defenseman. Yep. Like he was put into a number 1 role, but in reality, what he was throughout the league was a number 2 defenseman. And so in reality, if that is what Jackson LaCombe becomes, this contract is still just fine. Like, that's not an issue at all.
If he becomes what Cam Fowler was,
yeah,
then this is fine. And I know people are going to hear that and be like, oh, Cam Fowler sucked. No, Cam Fowler was good.
Cam Fowler had a very good Ducks career.
I think that, so there might still be some confusion from people about, well, you guys always are just automatically give the young guy his money. But I think in a lot of the cases that we've looked at, it's guys who did have a lot more pedigree prior to the NHL than Jackson LaCombe. Like, Jackson LaCombe played 4 years of college and, really steadily improved as he was in college, but still a 4-year college player who was a second-round draft pick. Like, these aren't necessarily guys that you're kind of penciling in to just be really, really good right away in the NHL.
I have kind of 2 things I want to add, though, also to that. Is, yes, we are that. And that's why I think we are definitely of the opinion that this is a good bet you could make. I think where you and I both are a little perplexed on this, and why maybe we both are not pushing back on it, but questioning it a bit more, is why was it so easy to do this for Jackson LaCombe, and not saying he doesn't deserve it, and this is a good bet, because he does. But why was it so easy to do this, yet for Mason McTavish, it was a grind to a halt for a guy that honestly had more of a track record in the NHL?
I mean, look at and
right?
that's the thing, is that, and I'm not saying that this is why you should pay a guy more or have it be an easier time, but it does kind of paint this picture where Mason McTavish was a 3rd overall pick. You drafted him, you believed in him, and then he goes and makes the NHL. Not long after getting drafted, puts up 43 points, 17 goals in his rookie year. Then he goes 42 points in 64 games, 19 goals. And then last season, 52 points, 22 goals. Like, he's got a pretty solid production track record as a young player, and he's shown flashes of being more than that. And I think that his track record is a lot more proven in the NHL than LaCombe. Now, you could say that. Let me ask you this. Despite McTavish's production, would you agree that LaCombe's season this last year was better than any season McTavish had?
Yes,
so
100%.
That is the caveat, is that McTavish, although he has had the point totals, the two-way game has not been there the whole way through. Whereas LaCombe was good in every facet this past year.
But if we are paying guys for what they were going to do,
yes,
Mason McTavish is 2 years younger than Jackson LaCombe.
And also, McTavish has been putting up those point totals in really crappy environments.
and so I think that's where you and I both are. Like, it sucks that this is the conversation that we're having around this, because you and I both, I think, do like this contract overall and what it means.
Yes.
I think the confusion around it is more so, I guess there's just confusion about how the Ducks are handling all of this, because it doesn't fully make sense between it all, especially when you have Elliot Friedman saying there are people around the league that with Mason McTavish to watch it, they're grinders over there, and the Ducks really want to set the precedent that they're not going to go over $7 million, and that's now the bar. And that whole thing happened.
that goes away in a day.
That goes away in a day, and it's $9 million. And it was all about setting this bar for the young guys. And while, yes, like Pavel Mintyukov and Olin Zellweger are not going to have arbitration, so they don't have that leverage that Jackson LaCombe had here, and it's probably what made Pat Verbeek very nervous and made him want to do this deal. But like you said, Jackson LaCombe had one really good season.
Yep, that's out of two. He's played two NHL seasons.
What if Pavel Mintyukov or Olin Zellweger pop off this year and outshine Jackson LaCombe this year? Like the whole argument of Mason McTavish making $7 million is not one. Like the whole thing that was thrown around is that, and in some ways, by signing Jackson LaCombe to this deal, it's done exactly what he didn't want to have happen. What the mainstream media narrative around the Ducks was saying they didn't want to do.
Yeah. Well, look, this is a good thing. This is the kind of contract the Ducks should be signing. And
yes, agreed.
I will say the McTavish contract is not that far off from what we would prefer them to do. Like,
agreed.
It is still a longer-term deal that buys UFA years.
Yes.
So,
the journey to get there, I think, is what's weird.
Was stupid.
Yeah.
But the LaCombe deal is a good one. Like I said, I don't think there's really a way that this could go wrong. If it had been me at the controller, I think I would have been a little more gun-shy to really give him that right now, just because of the sample size. But that's just me. You brought up the fact of what about if Zellweger and Mintyukov pop off this year? Unless you have anything else to add on LaCombe.
No.
I did want to go through the lines that we've been seeing now. So on the back end, you have LaCombe Gudis as the top pairing. And I think that going into that LA game, I think they had tried Mintyukov Hellison, and because the Ducks were getting so badly outplayed, they broke them up at one point.
Yeah.
But at practice today, they did go back to LaCombe Gudis, Zellweger Trouba, and Mintyukov Hellison. And so, do you really see Zellweger and Mintyukov outshining LaCombe? Because it feels like LaCombe is going to be on power play 1. He's going to be on the penalty kill. He's going to be on the top pairing. Mintyukov's right now seems kind of stuck on that third pairing, and then Zellweger's somewhere in between. Like, I don't think that's happening.
Being put in a position to do it, no.
Yeah,
but
you kind of need that though. I mean, that's the other thing we should say about LaCombe is that last year he was kind of immune to repercussions for his mistakes. Like he had some major gaffes that would have gotten Mintyukov or Zellweger scratched.
But if Mintyukov really, like Mintyukov to me, like is the guy that if he really like fulfills what I think he's going to be, he is a game-breaking type of defenseman. Like one that is like that good defensively.
So could Zellweger.
Both of them, yeah. And so I don't think they necessarily need the power play minutes to be able to do that. And so I think that if Mintyukov's playing 13, 14 minutes a night, even if he's playing well, like sure, he's not going to pop off. But one of the two is going to get minutes this year. Like just by process of elimination.
My worry, and again, it's just one game, it's just preseason, but Mintyukov might be bad defensively. Right now. I'm not saying he will be forever, but right now it seems like a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
And that does concern me slightly. You know what I'd love to know?
What?
How does Jackson LaCombe feel about Greg Cronin? Because Greg Cronin, in a way, got him this contract.
Yeah.
Not fully, of course. It was LaCombe's hard work, but you know.
Well, it's fascinating because we talk about it when we look back on Cam Fowler. Like, even with bad coaches, there are some guys that absolutely thrive under bad coaches. Guys that don't have the best system in the world, and for whatever reason, it just meshes with their game. Cam Fowler had some of his best seasons as a Duck under Dallas Eakins.
Yep.
Like, that was when, like, you look at his underlying metrics, and he really was great. And now under Greg Cronin, maybe it was the system's not working, things like that, because he went to St. Louis and was having good underlying numbers after that. But, like, Jackson LaCombe's a guy that really thrived under Greg Cronin. So that's another thing with the contract for LaCombe is that I'm very curious to see him under another coach and see how that goes.
But
By the way,
I mean, Cronin really put him. I mean, if there's one guy that Cronin put in a position to succeed, it was LaCombe because he gave him all the ice time.
Yeah.
He let him play through mistakes. He was the one guy who seemed to get that special treatment of anyone on the team. So,
by the way, Plant Ranch asked in our Twitch chat, though, does it matter symbolically that LaCombe is the highest paid Duck ever?
Not to me, because that was going to be whoever was going to get paid next. Like, I think this is just a timing thing, right? Whether it was LaCombe or, let's say, Carlson next summer, whatever that next major contract was going to be, that record was getting broken because of the inflation, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know. Like, if you were to go back in time, I don't know how well available the data is, but how much money Teemu Solani and Paul Carrillo were making. There was no salary cap back then, but
I'm also more curious to see who breaks the percentage of cap record for the Ducks. Like, Ryan Getzlaf probably has that, would be my guess.
Wasn't it Perry that had a higher contract than Getzlaf?
I think that weren't they like matching? Weren't they both
8.25? I thought Perry had 8.6.
Let's see. I'll take a look.
I could have sworn that Perry's was slightly higher than Getzlaf's.
I will take a look and find out. But yeah,
8.625. He had a higher contract. I don't know. That's kind of sad that I remember that, but
that is. I mean, he did have a Hart Trophy when he signed that.
Yeah, I think he had more leverage, but so that would be the record. And what was that?
13.41%.
So what would 13.4 of 105 be?
I don't have a. You're making me do.
Just use your browser.
I'm using my phone. 13.4 times, what was it? 105?
Let's go 105 since that's next year.
14.
So you would need 14 million to equal that. So yeah, like, yes, highest paid Duck ever, but not really.
Yeah, not even close.
It's just a symbolic thing. Yeah, not close at all, actually.
14 mil. Like, man, Corey Perry got paid like Leon Draisaitl.
Corey Perry got paid. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean,
for him.
He deserved it. He was that good.
Yeah, he was. I mean,
he won a Hart Trophy.
He was a true first line elite talent for like 10 years. So
yeah,
those guys. Now, of course, there'll be the portion of the fan base that says, "But what about the playoffs?"
Wasn't he like a point per game in the playoffs, or was that Getzlaf?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't enter the conversation, the actual facts. It's just the fact that they never won a Game 7, which, do with that what you will.
They did win a Game 7.
Which one?
The Oilers.
Oh, sure. Well, they didn't win the ones they needed to win.
Yeah, there you go.
But really, the failure of that era was the Game 6s, not the Game 7s. Anything else on preseason?
No, the Kings game was frustrating.
I was getting some very heavy texts from you during that.
Were you?
That LA Kings
game.
Were you? You were not. You were not. The amount of should I expose you?
No, please don't.
I won't, but I'll just say that you were frustrated in text.
I was very frustrated. I did not view that as a good game. That was a game where it felt like more of the same of last season, in the sense of they played a horrible 50 minutes. And
they were really bad.
And were deservedly down 4-0. Probably should have been down more. Like, Dostal played solid and was allowed 4 goals. And I think the takeaway from it was that Leo Carlsson is very good. Like, he is a very, very good player. His talent showed over that time period. But they should not have really scored 4 goals in that time period. And if that is what they're relying upon to win games throughout the season, it's going to be another rough year.
Yeah, that was a very bad game. This was the closest thing we'll get to an NHL game in the preseason. It was full squads on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they were down 4-0. And it was probably a little bit of sarcasm, but my favorite part of that game was actually Zach Kavanaugh's tweet in all caps saying, "And the Ducks have tied it." Like, as as if it was it
I
was a real game.
I appreciate it, Zach.
That was good.
I know
That was
you
good.
listen to us, so I appreciate it.
That was good.
but-
I enjoyed that. I'm pretty sure there was a little bit of tongue in cheek there, but yeah, it was the comeback on what's the street for the Kings?
Figueroa.
The comeback on Figueroa, the fall from behind and get back on Figueroa.
Yeah, not a good game, not a repeatable way to win games in the regular
Quenneville
season.
was asked about it, and he did say that would have been a great point in the regular season, which I know you just I can already see it in your face. You don't like to hear.
I get it from a coaching perspective.
Well, you want to play up the positives.
Yeah, I get it from a coaching perspective. But
I don't
still.
think that Quenneville would be happy about this game in a regular season setting.
No.
Like
This is a game.
They had 9 shots through 2 periods.
This is a game where you look back and say we played like absolute garbage, but we somehow found a way to salvage a point out of that game. We're gonna take our lessons, but we're gonna take the point, move on, and play better in the future. Like that is the way.
Goose with a good one. The fracas on Figueroa.
Yeah.
That would make more sense if there was like fights. One thing to note from that game though, Leo Carlson, 2 goals. Mm-hmm. Including a snipe.
Yeah.
The one that made it 4-3, that wrister was just lethal. Everyone was going on about his first goal. I thought it was a little bit of a soft goal.
I like the
Kemper.
first goal more than the second goal, actually.
I could see that. So the thing with the first goal is I really like the fact that he took it wide and then drove to the middle using his big frame and his reach. Like that's what he should be doing. I just thought that the shot and the actual goal itself was a little soft.
Didn't it go post and in?
No, it was just short side.
I thought it went short side, caught the post, and went in.
Yeah, but okay, I guess it's the goalie in me, but short side goals should just not go in. Like that's just a rule of thumb
There's
for goalies.
always going to be some space short side high though. I think that was a perfect
but that wasn't
shot.
high. It was low. It
thought
was
it
like
was high.
It was like 7-hole or whatever, or not 7-hole, but it was above the pad. It was like between the pad and the glove.
I'll need to rewatch it. For whatever reason, I was thinking it went like above glove.
No.
Or not. Not. Would that be glove?
It was like knee height,
Yeah.
basically. Knee height. Well, my knees, so probably higher, but you know.
Yeah.
But the second goal was just like a pure snipe, which I just love to see that. But yeah, outside of that, in that game, I mean, do I talk about it? I'm gonna get accused of hatred again. Oh, I'll just say it because it's the hockey purist in me.
I didn't even have to egg you on for this one.
It's the hockey purist in me, and I am just saying this, not with any malice, and literally just because I watched the game, and I'm just telling you guys what I see. But at 3-on-3 in overtime, the Ducks have was it an odd-man situation? Beckett Sennecke enters the zone, turns it over, and then takes a big old lap, doesn't get back in time, really just doesn't back check until it's way too late, and that leaves the third man wide open because the thing with 3-on-3 overtime is any turnover could lead to an odd man rush. And if you don't get back, if you don't haul ass and get back, it will absolutely be an odd man rush. He did not haul ass. He didn't actually enter the frame until the puck was on Fiala's stick. Like, it's actually uncanny. He didn't get back. It was a lazy, bad play, and it cost him the game. And, again...
Cost him an extra point.
As a hockey purist, there is just something about a guy not back-checking that just really grinds my gears. So take that for what it's worth. Preseason, maybe he knew he had already made the team, so it's like, who gives a shit about back-checking in preseason? I don't know. I will judge him on the regular season games. Yep. That is just what it is. It happened, whatever. Regular season will be the tell in terms of just his current NHL status. Okay. Questions?
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to hit up our Patreon exclusive Discord first for our podcast questions. Go to patreon.com/crashpond where you get access to our Discord channel at the $2 tier. So Brad said I have 2 questions. One, as of today, who do you predict will make the Ducks or make up the Ducks' fourth line?
Well, I think we have our answer.
Yeah.
Let's
unless you think that one of Johnston or Seneca won't be in.
Let's say that Seneca let's just say when the team gets more serious, when Seneca gets sent down, when they're really in the hunt. I think it's Colangelo, Paling, Nestorenko.
It should be that. Like I
Yeah.
like in one of the I forget which game it was in the preseason. They all blend together besides that last Kings game. But I think it was Nestorenko, Washi, Colangelo. I thought they looked really good together. Like,
Yeah.
I thought they brought the energy that you want from a fourth line. They had the puck in the offensive zone, and they were able to generate offensive looks. Like, that is a modern-day fourth line, and you swap out Washi for Paling, who's a bona fide fourth-line center in the NHL, and that is a good fourth line. And it's wild that they are galaxy braining into Ross Johnston being there over those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, at least with the Seneca situation, you can at least say, hey, this is like a key piece of the future. We want to kind of groom him a little bit. Whereas Johnston, it's like, what's the deal here? But yeah, I think that the best version of that fourth line for this season does include Paling, Colangelo, and Nestorenko, because they can all skate. They can all do some things with the puck. They're all decently reliable defensively. Colangelo is a little hit or miss there. But that should be the fourth line.
By the way, quick question. Nestorenko, anytime I see him on the ice, especially now that he's wearing 13, I think it's Zegras for a split second.
Well, because he has the longer hair.
And they both have that like hunched over skating stride.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Nestorenko got a lot faster.
He looks good.
I think
he does.
He's improved steadily over the last year. Like he's an NHLer at this point. Not a top 9 guy, but he can play. So.
Yeah. All right. And then Brad also said, what do each of you think about Friedman's view of the Ducks as a dark horse?
I mean, sure, they could be.
I don't think they're dark horse to win the cup. No, dark horse to make the playoffs. Sure.
They are a dark horse, but like, does dark horse just mean like a team that's not expected? That could be like, to me, dark horse implies that there is a certain likelihood of that happening.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just a shot in the dark.
Oh.
And for me, I don't really view them as a dark horse, because a dark horse is a team that I think is likely to do it, or at least has a strong probability.
I think for Ellie, I think there are a lot of more mainstream media types.
Well, he loves the Ducks.
That do have the Ducks more so going. They're a team that is not the likeliest to make the playoffs, but they are a team that could happen for. But really quick on the dark horse thing. Right before we got here and started recording, I saw a video on TikTok that The Athletic put out, and it was with some of their writers, and it was just like, who are your dark horse cup picks this year? Mm-hmm. There were people that picked the Colorado Avalanche and the Edmonton Oilers.
What?
And it's like,
that's not a dark horse.
These are not dark horses here. Come on.
Also, part of the dark horse is the dark. You can't see them coming. Like, everyone knows those teams are coming.
Someone picked Montreal. I'm like, okay, that works. I don't view it. I don't think they are a dark horse cup contender, but sure, like that is more in the vein. The one that I'm going with the one that I completely agreed with is Utah.
Yes, see, that fits the dark horse theme, because not really talked about, but there is actually a probability of them doing it.
They are likely to make the playoffs, I think. Maybe not extremely likely, but they are a team that could make it. And if they do get in, they are a team that could definitely make noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, going back to the Friedman thing, remember last year when the Ducks were playing, well, I shouldn't say playing well, when they had their run, and Friedman was just talking them up nonstop?
Yeah.
I forget what he would say, but it was always like, anyway.
Yeah.
His like Toronto accent too, just like.
So
anyway,
to answer this question, what do I think of it? I mean, I think I think the Ducks at this point this year, I think with Quenneville coming in and a lot of hockey media types loving him, like I think they are the sexy team to make the jump for a lot of hockey media types.
But if you look at all the prediction models, they are not that. And
the highest projection model for the Ducks, I think, has them at like 81 points.
I think it's 82. I think one 82? Of them has them the same as last year.
Yeah.
But I think so for me, the truth is somewhere in between those two things. I think the prediction models are slightly low, and I also don't think that they're a dark horse team. I think that they're just somewhere in between that.
They are a team that should probably finish in the low, like
high 80s.
I would say middle to low 80s. Is kind of
the
middle end for this team.
I don't think this is a 90-point 90-plus point
I
team.
don't think this is a 90-point team. I think if everything goes right, this is still a high 80-point team. I think that if everything goes wrong, this is a team that could be in the low 70s, though.
Well, the big problem with this team that no one wants to really talk about isn't the young players. It's all these old guys who could all, not all, but like a lot of them could be not good this year. Like we've talked about Strum and Vetrano. They are the third line. You've got Killorn, who hasn't necessarily, we've liked him, but we'll see what he is this year. Kreider.
He hasn't produced. He's played well, and I think it's good defensively, but
he's not
hasn't put up the
impactful.
points. Yeah.
And then you've got Kreider, you've got Granlund, who are also old and slightly flawed. You've got there's downward potential here. Now, I'm not saying that that's what will happen, but I think that for a lot of the people like Friedman that you're talking about, they view those veteran guys as kind of like sure values, where I think that it should be the opposite. I think the young guys are more sure value than the old guys. So,
yep. And then Salami Sandwich said, based on the very limited sample size of this preseason, what are your predictions on the possibility of a positive regression for Gudas and Trouba? Is there hope for this blue line?
I think Trouba doesn't really need positive regression. He kind of was what he's been last year, like just middle of the road.
Not great, not horrible.
Yeah, he's not actually terrible defensively.
He's not great
by the numbers. Yeah, but doesn't really bring anything offensively, doesn't necessarily kill you defensively. I think that's what he's going to be again. I mean, there's not really a step for him to lose. He's already quite slow. Gudas is the one that I'm very iffy about because it could be that he's a lot healthier this year, but when you start talking about a guy's knees at that age, it makes me wince a little bit. But yeah, it could be that he's a little healthier, that he's really all in on being healthy this year to play in the Olympics. That is all possible. I just wouldn't necessarily bet on that. Let me ask you this. Do you think Gudas will be better this year than he was last year, just in any capacity?
I don't think so, personally. I think that...
So you're saying he's going to be awful again?
I think the fact that he didn't have surgery on his knees, he went for rehab, has another year of wear and tear on his body,
heavy minutes.
You just don't see guys at that age bounce back. That's just not what you see from defensemen that especially play a more physical brand of hockey that look like they lose a step significantly and it's due to a knee injury. You don't see them at that age really kind of regaining that the season after. I think that's my issue and why I don't necessarily think it's going to happen. I'm trying to look up exactly how old Gudas is at this point.
He's 34, 35.
He's 35.
Yeah.
He's 35, going to be 36.
Yeah. It's just maybe he's got one last good season in him. That's really the best you can hope for, I think.
So he turned 35 in June of this past year. So he will be 35 for the entirety of the season. But still,
and again, this is
a downward trajectory of the aging curve, and then you throw an injury into that as well, and it's just all going to add up.
Well, he got an injury, which it sounds like he could have gotten surgery for and chose not to.
Yeah.
And he's 35. It's just... It could be fine, but these are the things that usually don't bode well.
Yep. And then Tussle asks, is making the open night roster the peak for Nestorenko?
I think he could settle in as a full-time NHLer.
Yeah, I think he can.
I mean, the thing with him is just that sticking as an NHLer, you do need some sort of dimension or quality, because otherwise you're just another guy. You're just another guy who could go down to the AHL. You need to be either physical, you need to be fast, you need to have something. And I'm curious kind of what his thing will be, because otherwise he could remain one of these guys who gets sent up and down. So,
yep. All right, I'm going to go some Twitter DMs. I have two of them that I'm going to go with. So a Taco Pie actually sent this for last week's episode, and I forgot to get to it, so I want to do it now, but because it still works. Question for the Bob. The Ducks are getting more national media attention right now than they have for a long time. How do the national narratives and takes line up and differ than from what you guys see?
I mean, I feel like we just laid all that out.
Yep.
but it's that a lot of people see the Ducks as this dark horse team, whereas we're we're both a lot more realistic about it's not just the fact that the team was bad, it's that there's just it's a big corner to turn. It's a big hill to climb to go from this awful team to all of a sudden playoffs. Like you just how often do you really see that? A team just going full 180 in a season. It's hard. More realistically, they probably end up getting 80-ish points, kind of clawing for a playoff spot, and then they have another jump. That would be my prediction.
Yep, I would agree. Eric said, do you think the short-term stint on a fourth line could benefit Seneca, similar to how Gauthier seemed to benefit from one last season?
Yeah, I think it will. I think that this is actually going to be really good for him. I think that he needs to just be a fourth liner for a little bit. He needs to learn to play responsible hockey, get the details right, back check, dump the puck in when you have to. Like, just do the meat and potato things. I know that this sounds really boring, but like that is just the stuff he's going to have to learn. The flip side of that is I don't want to see him doing that for the whole season. Like, at some point, he can still get better offensively too. That does need to keep going because an entire year on the fourth line is not going to do him good.
Yep. All right, now we're going to go to Twitch and YouTube. So for those of you listening on your favorite podcast services, you can find us at twitch.tv/crashpond, where if you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime gaming sub each and every month, and it does help out more than you can imagine. Special emotes in the chat, special badges next to your name, or if you don't want to watch us on Twitch and you still want to watch a video, you can find us at youtube.com/crashpond, where if you have a YouTube account, and yes, I know everyone listening to this has a YouTube account, you can like and subscribe to the channel. For anyone listening to this right now on YouTube, watching this on YouTube, please hit that like button. It helps out more than you can imagine. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Also helps out with all of the algorithms. So, got this question from Austin Price saying, what defines success for the Ducks this season? Is it a certain number of points or more overall development from their young players?
So is this like our own personal?
I think so. Let's go with that route of it, because I think it's funny going into last season and maybe even the year before. My view was they did need to take a step points wise. We need to see that from them. But I think last year showed exactly why that shouldn't necessarily be the case.
I tried to warn you.
You did. Because there are ways that they can still be bad or even take it. Like last year was a step back for that team. Like they were worse last year in their overall play than the year prior. And even though they just got more points due to the variance of hockey. And so in some ways, like from hockey logic, they are due for some regression this season, first off. So I think overall from my side of it, it is them becoming a better 5-on-5 team overall. And the results being driven by that, not so much the variance shooting percentage and save percentage.
Yeah, I mean, for me, how I will view the team will be purely based on how they are playing as a team. You know, the wins and losses don't matter to me still. They matter to the team, and to some degree, I will be judging them on that because that is their stated goal is to make the playoffs. But for me, what I'm really looking for is, are they controlling the play? Are they limiting the chances against? Are they generating scoring chances? Are the special teams improved? That's really number one. And maybe number two is, how are the young players being utilized? How are they progressing? Right? I would rather not see another year of young players getting jostled around the lineup and stuff. So those are really that's really it. I don't really have any other barometers or expectations beyond that. I just want to see a team that plays solid hockey. I've been asking for this for 8 years, by the way.
Yeah. It's
surely it'll happen at some point.
At some point. All right, so we got this question. Skadoosh said, a lot of the projections have the Habs clearly out of a playoff spot. What do you guys think?
Wait, what?
He said, a lot of the projections have the Habs clearly out of the playoff spots. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think that's probably realistic. There's I've seen a lot of people say, oh, the Habs are for sure in. I think that the Canadians could be very similar to the Ducks, where they get better as a team, but finish in or around or even slightly below where they were last year. Like, I think that they had a lot of things go their way to make it last year, and I think that there'll be a better 5-on-5 team this year, but that might not guarantee a playoff spot. So, should we do a Habs preview?
No, I'm good.
I'm seeing other Ducks podcasts doing that. So
I'm good.
So I thought that might be something people want.
If the Ducks are in a similar spot as last year on the deadline, not out but not really in, do you guys think they should buy at the deadline to get young guys experience or sell again?
So if they're on the fringes,
yeah,
man, they just don't really have anything to sell. Like, or anything that they would sell. Like Gudas isn't
Jacob Trouba, Radko Gudas.
Gudas is not getting traded.
Gudas could actually fetch you something at the deadline.
Because he could, but if they're on the bubble, they're not trading him. They would have to be well out of it for them to do that.
Sure.
I mean, you're talking a Ryan Poehling to me, or a Ross Johnston. Those are the guys. I mean, you're also talking about a Peter Mrazek if he's still on the team. Then
yeah.
I mean, I think that if they're on the fringe, those are the guys. But I still don't think that the veteran Ds are getting traded.
Yeah, Lucian LeChant said, if you don't see them in the playoffs, which teams do you have under them? I guess maybe he said he's thinking, who do we have
ahead of them?
Ahead of them in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, should we just say that we did a Patreon pod about this and go check it out?
I was going to say that. We did a full divisional preview. We'll say that for if you want to know exactly where we have the divisions.
We did a division preview podcast on our Patreon for every division, including the Pacific.
I guess we can do this. We can lay out exactly where we both had the Ducks to not give away the entire show. But
where is it? Where is the list?
I did my own. I did not write down what your projections were.
Oh, I deleted mine.
God, this is why we can never go back and check. I have the Ducks finishing 6th in the Pacific.
I think we both had them in the same spot.
I think we did as well, with the teams below them the same, and then the order of the teams above them different.
We had them ahead of Seattle and San Jose, and that was it.
Yeah. Yep. Anthony Oberstar, aka Goose, said, which guy that didn't make the roster surprises you the most? Tristan Leno, honestly.
I thought he would make the team going into camp, and in a weird way, he probably still wouldn't have, even if they had a third, even if they had just had 2 goalies. But that is the surprise, but not the end of the world for him.
Yep. All right. Simon McLaren said, is anyone else just still not vibing with the Ducks this year? I mean,
is this a Quenneville thing?
For me personally, it's a Quenneville thing. I still just am not vibing with them from that. Still going to analyze them the same way I always have on this podcast, but definitely not feeling the vibes for this team. As much as we have our Anaheim vibe shirt, the vibes don't feel great for me right now still with this team. But we will move on. And then he also said, if you're still not convinced about McQueen going to the NCAA, have you seen a map of the WHL teams? Brandon's travel looks crazy. I mean, you and I both are pro McQueen going to Providence.
No, I am.
Oh,
I've said this multiple times. I am like agnostic to it, basically, where I think that people are really writing off the benefits of playing junior hockey and really looking at all of the positives of college hockey. Whereas to me, it's more of just a list of pros and cons on both sides. And the Ducks and McQueen chose one of those pros and cons. But yes, if you do, like, it is kind of hilarious to think about. And I'm actually really glad that Simon brought this up, because the other day, I probably shouldn't say this. I'll just say it anyway. I was at work. I was a little distracted. It was a Friday. And I was just looking on Google Maps. And I got to thinking, the travel in the WHL must be insane. And indeed it is. If you look at the map of West, like, the WHL spans 4 provinces: British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. And the distances between some of these cities is actually, like, batshit crazy.
Well, and it goes all the way down to Portland.
Yeah, it goes all the way to the Pacific Northwest of the United States, all the way to basically central Canada. Like, it's insane, and a lot of that is done by bus. So for a guy with back problems sitting on a bus for 15 hours or whatever, probably more than that, maybe it makes sense why he didn't want to ride. I think he even said in an interview, I don't have to ride the bus anymore. But do I say it? If a teenager is saying that about his back, that's It's not what you want to hear long term. Anyway, move on.
Mr. Mom has the best question. As you mentioned, you have been waiting 8 years. Do you think that the Ducks' downfall coinciding with the start of the podcast is just chance? How much responsibility do you personally take?
None.
I'll take all of it. Put it all on me. It's fine. I can take it.
By the way, the team did make the playoffs the first year we did the podcast.
They did.
So
they didn't win a game, but they made the playoffs.
I went to a playoff game that year, and I don't remember anything from that game.
I don't think I went to a playoff game that year.
I did. And
were they the home team in that series? Oh, I think they were. I think they had over 100 points.
Did they really? No. You're wrong about that.
I think they had over 100 points that season.
Let's see. 2017-18 Anaheim Ducks.
I think they were maybe at 100 on the dot.
101.
Yeah.
Wow, you were actually right.
Well, I remember that was the year that...
So the Sharks would have been third then in the division.
That was the year me, CJ, and JC went out to Arizona and did the podcast in the Airbnb as you were not there. And
where was I?
I don't know. But I remember us talking about the fact that the Ducks finished with over 100 points again.
Which is hilarious in hindsight because that team was not good. No. I mean, they had... Was that the year Antoine Vermette was taking every face-off?
I don't remember. That was the first year of Adam Henrique on the team, though.
It was. That was actually one of our first podcasts, was the Vatanen for Henrique trade.
Yeah. Which
makes me feel...
Old?
I don't know.
I mean, there's lots of things that make me feel old at this point.
My favorite thing about that year, though, was the trade deadline. The speed.
Was that... that was that year. And Chris Kelly and signing him off of... that was the Olympic year.
That was the year. That was the year.
Oh, that was when I took my stance on Troy Terry playing a game for the Ducks.
Yes, that was one of your original hot takes.
That was, and it ended up being right.
But my favorite thing about that year was Bob Murray thinking, let me just add fast skaters and that'll fix everything. It was Chris Kelly. Shoot, who else was it?
Jason Chimera.
Both
old guys.
Wasn't there a third one?
Were they even fast?
Yeah, they were. But like...
Oh, Mr. Mom is Lucha. That makes sense.
Yeah, they... man, the names on this roster from that year are just giving me flashbacks. Kevin Waugh, Logan Shaw.
Wow.
Dennis Rasmussen.
I forgot about that, dude.
Mike Liambus.
Ugh.
Yeah, there's some...
There's some names.
Yeah, anyway, I could do this for a while.
We have done it for a while.
Anything else?
I mean, in our shit show questions, our good friend Derek Lee said, create a baseball lineup consisting of players from the 25-26 Ducks roster. Nope. There's your answer, Derek. Nope. Anything in shit show, the answer can just be nope.
That's fair. Also, that would take forever. Also, I don't care enough.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll give you this one.
Okay.
Dostal at catcher.
Sure.
I mean, where else is he going to play?
Sure.
Anyway, whatever. It's baseball. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care about baseball unless the Giants are playing. So everyone's like, oh, MLB playoffs. Oh, best time. So exciting. Blah, blah. I don't care. There's so much hockey to watch. And there's football. You think I'm going to make time for teams that I don't care about? No, I'm not.
I've watched a bit of playoff baseball.
I'm so tired of hearing, playoff baseball. It's electric. Blah, blah. Guess what? It's still baseball.
Brewers just took a 2-0 lead. I am an Angels fan. Felix is not, to be clear. Felix is from the Bay Area originally.
I am a Giants fan. Very casual, though. Like, I am not a diehard baseball fan. I will watch the games for, here and there during the season. I love going to a baseball game. That is awesome. But I'm not watching baseball over hockey. Just not. Sorry.
Plant Wrench said, and there's the Brewers hate.
Who are the Brewers? Is that a team?
Yes, they are playing right now.
Is that a team?
They're playing the Chicago Cubs.
Is that a team in the MLB? The MLB? Is this my new bit? Just hating baseball?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
No, it's just there's a lot of things that have really pissed me off the last couple weeks, and it's just come to a head. It's come to a head. The other thing
Plant Wrench asks, is baseball the best sport to go to live?
No, hockey's better. That's just because hockey is just a better sport. Like, even if the hockey experience isn't as good as a ballpark, hockey is just better and more entertaining, more athletic, more difficult, more cool, more everything than baseball.
You're going to have some people come after you.
I mean, if you're listening to this podcast and you prefer baseball to hockey, then why are you listening to this podcast?
Because they can like both.
Okay, but you can like both.
I listen to Angels podcasts, and I prefer the hockey over baseball.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just saying,
Boom.
like, this is my preference. I'm allowed to, I co-own this podcast. I'm allowed to have a 50% take. I'm allowed to have my 50% of the takes.
Plant Wrench is wondering why you're attacking him.
There's a lot of things the last couple weeks. The other thing that's been pissing me off is all these preseason takes. Can I just get that out there? We don't need to have freaking, like, it's ironic coming from me in this show because we did a lot of preseason talk, but some of the analysis about like which teams are good, which teams are looking good in the preseason, this and that, it's still just freaking preseason. The other thing that's been pissing me off is that in the world of prospects, every prospect that has had a hot start, it's like every scout on Twitter is like, oh, this guy had a hat trick. Anton Frundell had a hat trick. See, haha, I told you so. He was actually the best player in the draft or whatever. It's like, no, 5 games doesn't prove anything. I thought that we all agreed on that. Like, there's this one freaking guy who, there's this player that's in the WHL right now who came over from the USHL, so it's a very interesting kind of test case for the new world we're in. And he's had a really hot start. And now I'm seeing someone saying, oh, I might have him in my top 10 now. I'm like, no, you don't. Come on. You're going to let 10 games, or not even 10 games, like 5 games, you're going to put this guy in your top 10 because of 5 games? That's silly. What happened to us? What happened to sample size? I'm just tired of it, man. Anyway. That's my 2 cents.
I didn't even have to lead you to start digging that grave for yourself.
No, this is like, bring it on. If there's pushback, bring it on. Like, I have been sitting here quietly scrolling through Twitter, reading these takes, and just fuming. And I'm letting all the fume out today. So there you go. I feel better now. It's like
I
therapy.
find it hilarious. You're welcome.
All right. Okay, are we done?
I think that's gonna do it. Someone said, question, is he gonna be okay?
I'll be fine. I'm just tired. I'm just tired of these takes. I'm tired of these takes. I am. The overreaction, knee jerk. Oh, this guy looked great in a preseason game. Yeah, you know what? A lot of guys do. Rocco Grimaldi didn't. You know how many games Rocco Grimaldi has played in the NHL since then? Probably 0.
Hey, why are you coming after the Rocco Grimaldi truthers out there?
I think it's because as a Habs fan, I'm way more like there's so much of this because it's such an over mediatized.
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
The amount of talk there's been about like, oh, Joe Veleno or Sammy Blais, like these guys should make, and it's just like we don't need to do this. We don't need to have a war over a fourth liner who's not going to make it anyway. By the way, Sammy Blais was waived and claimed today, so he'll never be a Hab. Yeah,
Rocco Grimaldi has not played an NHL game since 21-22.
Like, I just genuinely want people to understand that there are so many differing motivations in preseason. Yes, the fourth liner who's battling for a job is just going to look better than the veteran who doesn't need to care and is out there to get a sweat. It doesn't mean anything. No more. Can we just cancel the preseason? Cancel it.
I mean, it's going to be like that moving forward with going down to, 4 games, so it'll be better.
This is my other issue, too. This is my other issue, is that although the preseason is over, the first 10 games are going to be the same thing. It's going to be, XYZ team started 4-1. Look out for them. Oh, the Ducks started 2-3-2.
I forgot to pop off this take before I'm not on this podcast for another few weeks.
Oh,
yeah. Felix is going to have a fill-in for the next few weeks. I will be busy. I'm going on podcast paternity leave for, I don't know. What does the state give me for podcast paternity leave?
Wait, what? Sorry,
I was making a joke.
I didn't hear. Can you say it again?
What does the state give me for podcast paternity leave?
Oh, I thought you were asking me what the podcast is giving you.
Yes. What is the podcast giving me for my paternity leave?
We have nothing to offer. You can buy yourself a T-shirt.
Okay, great.
How about this? How about this? For those who are listening, in the YouTube comments, Spotify, Twitter, whatever, why don't you wish Jake well for the next few weeks? Give him your moral support because he's gonna need it. He's not gonna sleep for months.
I'll get 2 hours of sleep.
Biologically, you have to sleep, but I mean, you're not going to sleep very much. It'll be disrupted. So
it will be disruptive sleep. That is the key part of it.
So everyone, give Jake your moral support because he's going to need it.
Either that, or go to our Patreon and subscribe to our Patreon,
or feed the baby. How do you think the baby's going to eat without money? Give us money. There you go. Feel bad if you're not. Baby got to eat. Formula ain't cheap. Diapers ain't cheap.
Getting back to
I'm using your hypothetical child as bait to get people to buy. I think I've done that before.
At least we're honest about it to everyone out there hiding behind it. You're
being told sleep when the baby sleeps, which doesn't sound like that's a lot.
No, you can get. I have a child already. I was able to get like 6 to 8 hours of sleep during those like first nights. It's just 2 hours. Then you're awake.
2 plus
then
3.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, people are outpouring support right now.
People are. Thank you.
You should thank me for doing that.
I do appreciate it from everyone. I'm not pushing back on purpose to all of you. But someone's saying that you are my child.
Sure.
Don't talk about. But the whole thing I was going to say was that these first 10 games are really soft for or 10 or however many games this first month are really soft.
All right, let's do this and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, if the Ducks do not come out of this, and I'm not even talking wins or losses, but we can do wins or losses. I know that's where you're going. But the vast majority of these teams were sub 50% expected goal share last year. If the Ducks don't come out of these this first month and are 51-52% expected goal share, that it should be a massive disappointment.
Yeah.
Like for a team that is trying to make a push and make the jump into the playoffs.
I think they're going to need time to gel.
Sure, but the point is that these are the games that you have to be dominant in.
I agree. That like these points count just as much as the ones later on. Okay, we'll do the first 10 games.
Okay.
Seattle, season opener. Win or loss?
I think on the road in Seattle.
It's like an hour flight.
Sure, but it's Seattle's home opener. I'm gonna go with a loss in Seattle.
Really? I think that they win that game.
Okay.
I think the Kraken are gonna be bad.
Oh, I do too. I just think in Seattle, game 1 there, home crowd. All
Sharks.
That type of stuff.
Saturday night.
They win.
Yeah, the Sharks are gonna be bad. Pittsburgh at home opener.
They should beat Pittsburgh.
That seems like a win. Is there an advantage for the home opener team? I feel like there is a little bit.
I think there is.
Carolina.
They lose.
At home? That's a long travel for the Hurricanes.
The Hurricanes are one of the best teams in the league.
I think they win that game.
Okay.
I just think that yes, the Hurricanes are the better team, but I think the Ducks win that game.
Okay.
Okay, now it gets interesting. The road trip, Chicago.
They beat Chicago.
They have to win that game. To win that game.
Yep.
Nashville.
I think they lose to Nashville.
Boston.
What do you think about Boston?
I don't think they're going to be good, but I could see them giving the Ducks trouble, especially because the Ducks are traveling there. But didn't they win in Boston last year?
I can't remember.
Wasn't that the game where they had a great first period? Oh, they did lose that game. I think they lost. No, they blew it in the third.
Yeah,
that was one of those games. I think they win that game.
Okay, I'll take that.
Tampa.
They lose.
They do lose. Florida.
They lose.
And then back home against Detroit.
I think that's a game Gibson's gonna pitch a shutout.
There's gonna be so much money on the board. in the Red Wings locker room for
Win or
Gibson.
lose.
I'll say lose because I think Gibson's gonna pitch a shutout.
Okay, so it seems like we disagreed on Seattle and Carolina.
Yeah, I think those are wins.
I had him. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I had them win 4 of those games, and you had them win 6 of those games.
I think it's gonna be they're gonna be about 500.
Yeah,
which would be
say
fine.
that.
Which would be fine.
I think how they get to that 500 point is going to be what's important, at least from a long-term projection.
Yep. All right. We've done it.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it again. Well, Jake, we bid you adieu. I'll talk to you in 3 weeks. Just kidding. I'll probably talk to you a bunch.
Yeah, we're probably going to text tomorrow. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's been nice knowing you. So long. Farewell. Sayonara. But yes, enjoy your paternity leave from the pod. Don't worry, we'll compensate you. Just kidding, we won't.
Everyone out there subscribing on Patreon will.
But everyone, show Jake your support. Give him the moral support in the comments, and give him the money. Give him the financial support. Because guess what? 2 kids, a mortgage, that's expensive.
It is a new car. It's all very expensive.
Oh God, the car too. Yeah. So you know what
solar
to do.
panel. Yeah, it all adds up.
Solar panel. Oh no, we'll have a talk about that after. But if you want to support us, support the babies, support just keeping this thing going. The number one way to do that is to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/crashthepond. For $2 a month, you get access to the patrons only Discord server. This is where you can connect with us, chatting with us about the Ducks any time of day, but you're also joining a community of diehard Ducks fans. We're in there all the time chatting Ducks. There's other channels where you can talk about other sports too. It's a lot of fun. You can
including a baseball talk channel.
Yeah, there is baseball. There's actually a lot of baseball fans in the Discord, so I'm not one of them, but certainly there are a few. There's also a football talk, which I am in. I do love the football talk. But yes, that's for $2 a month. You can also up that pledge to $7.50 per month, and with that, you get access to 2 bonus podcasts. And these are a lot of fun this month. It's a good time to get in. We've got one which is just our NHL division predictions. So we go through each division and we rank them out. And then our most recent one, we did our CTP draft, where Jake and I each pick, I think it was 7 teams, and we do a contest which we keep track of. Whoever gets the most points, whoever's teams get the most points wins at the end of the year. There's also exclusive prospect videos. I've got one up for Eric Nielsen's college debut, and I'm going to do one for Roger McQueen's college debut. So go check that out, $7.50 a month, patreon.com/crashthepond. Leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. Check us out on Spotify. Leave us feedback there. Check out our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the video. Please, please, please like the video. And leave a comment. We'll reply. We'll engage. Bring your best stuff. Follow us on social media. Check out crashthepond.com. And with all that said, we'll talk to you next week. Well, I will talk to you next week. Have a good one.
Bye.